The blind girl's fingers clawed at the burning dust.
"Please,"
she whispered to no one.
"Please, somebody."
3 wagons had already passed. Not one had stopped. Eli Dawson pulled his horse to a halt. The scar across his face throbbed in the Texas heat. He'd sworn never to care about another living soul again. But this child, abandoned, trembling, reaching toward a voice she couldn't see. She was about to change everything. If you want to see how this broken cowboy finds redemption, subscribe now and comment your city below. Let's see how far this story travels. The child's hand reached toward nothing, just empty air. Burning Texas sky, the kind of heat that cracked lips and broke spirits. Eli Dawson had seen plenty of broken things in his 42 years. Broken promises, broken bones, broken men screaming for their mothers in Confederate field hospitals while surgeons sawed through what was left of their legs. But he'd never seen anything quite like this. A girl, couldn't be more than 7, maybe 8, kneeling in the middle of the road with her palms pressed flat against the ground, like she was trying to hold on to the earth itself. Her dress was torn at the shoulder. Her feet were bare, and her eyes, Lord Almighty, her eyes stared at nothing, milky white, empty as the promises politicians made.
"Mama?"
The girl's voice cracked.
"Mama, where'd you go?"
Eli's horse, a gray mare named Smoke, snorted and shifted beneath him. He should keep riding. That's what he told himself. That's what any sensible man would do. This wasn't his problem. This wasn't his burden. He had enough ghosts following him without adding another. But his hands were already pulling the reins. His boots were already hitting the ground. "Easy now," he said. The girl's head snapped toward his voice. Her whole body went rigid like a cornered animal.
"Who's there?"
"Name's Eli. Eli Dawson." He took a step closer. The dust swirled around his boots.
"I ain't gonna hurt you, miss." "That's what the last man said."
Something cold settled in Eli's gut. "What man?" The girl didn't answer. Her fingers curled into the dirt, scooping handfuls of it like she was searching for something she'd lost.
"My mama,"
she said.
"She was right here. She was holding my hand and then she—"
Her voice broke.
"She let go."
Eli crouched down, slow, careful, the way you'd approach a spooked horse. "When did she let go?"
"I don't know."
Tears cut tracks through the dust on the girl's cheeks.
"The sun was higher. It was cooler. I called and called, but she didn't answer. Nobody answered."
Eli looked down the road. Nothing but heat shimmer and empty horizon. "What's your name?"
"Lily,"
she sniffed.
"Lily Mae Patterson."
"Well, Lily Mae Patterson." Eli pulled his canteen from his belt. "You thirsty?" Her head turned toward the sound of sloshing water. Her cracked lips parted.
"Yes, sir."
He pressed the canteen into her hands. She drank like she'd been wandering the desert for 40 days. Water spilled down her chin, soaking the front of her dress. "Slow down now. You'll make yourself sick." She lowered the canteen, wiped her mouth with the back of her hand. "You sound old," she said. Eli almost smiled. Almost. "Reckon I am." And sad. The almost smile died. "Reckon I'm that, too." Lily's fingers found his wrist. Her touch was light, tentative, like a butterfly landing on a fence post. "Your skin's rough," she said. "Like tree bark." "Working man's hands." "My daddy had working man's hands." Her grip tightened. "Before he died." Eli didn't ask how. Didn't need to. The war had taken more fathers than any plague ever could. "I'm going to pick you up now," he said. "Put you on my horse. That all right?" Lily nodded. He lifted her. She weighed nothing, less than nothing, a bundle of bones wrapped in a torn cotton dress. When he settled her in the saddle, she gripped the horn with both hands.
"She smells like grass," Lily said. "Her name's Smoke. That's a funny name for a horse."
"She's a funny horse." For a moment, just a moment, Lily almost smiled too. Then her face crumpled.
"Why did Mama leave me?"
Eli had no answer. He grabbed Smoke's reins and started walking. Thornfield was 3 miles east. Eli had been headed the other direction, had been riding toward the New Mexico border with nothing but $30 in his pocket, and a burning need to put distance between himself and everything he'd ever known. But the girl needed food, water, shade, and maybe, just maybe, someone in Thornfield knew who she was, where she belonged. The town appeared slowly. First the church steeple, white against the blue sky. Then the buildings. Then the people. They stopped what they were doing when they saw him coming. Every single one of them. A woman in a blue bonnet pulled her children close. A man in a leather apron set down his hammer and stared. 2 old-timers on a porch stopped their checkers game. Eli was used to stares. The scar that ran from his left temple to his jaw made sure of that. A Union saber had given him that scar. Taken his eye, too, though the patch covered what was left. But these stares were different. These stares were aimed at the girl. "Afternoon," Eli said to the first man he reached. Blacksmith, by the look of him. "This child was abandoned on the road. You know her?" The blacksmith's eyes darted to Lily, then away. "Can't help you, mister." "I ain't asking for much. Just a name. Someone who might know her family." "I said I can't help." Eli's jaw tightened. "Then point me to someone who can." The blacksmith's hammer came up. Not threatening. Not yet. But close. "You'd best keep moving, stranger." "What the hell is wrong with you people?" Eli's voice rose. Lily flinched behind him. "She's a child. A blind child. Someone left her to die in the—" "She ain't welcome here." The voice came from behind. Eli turned. A man in a black coat stood in the middle of the street. Tall, thin, gray beard trimmed neat. A silver star gleamed on his chest. Sheriff. "That girl," the sheriff said, "is a curse." Lily's hand found Eli's shoulder. Her fingers dug in. "I want to go," she whispered. "Please, I want to go." Eli kept his eyes on the sheriff. "A curse. Her mama brought her into town 3 weeks ago, begging for charity. Said the girl could see things." The sheriff spat into the dust. "Dark things. Evil things." "She's blind." "Don't matter. Folks started talking. Started saying she was marked by the devil himself." The sheriff took a step closer. "Then Marcus Wheeler's barn caught fire. Burned to the ground. 3 days later, the Hendricks boy fell into the well. Broke his neck." "And you blame a blind child?" "I blame what I see, mister. And what I see is a town that was peaceful until that woman and her devil-touched daughter showed up." Lily was trembling now, her whole body shaking. "She's just a little girl," Eli said. "She's a curse." The sheriff's hand rested on his pistol. "And curses need to be driven out." The blacksmith stepped forward. Then another man. Then another. Eli counted 6. 7. 8. "Mister?" The sheriff's voice dropped low. "Dangerous. I'm going to give you one chance. You ride on out of here. Leave the girl. This ain't your concern." Eli looked at the crowd. at the fear in their eyes, at the hatred. He'd seen that look before. In Georgia, when a mob had dragged a man from his home for the crime of having the wrong skin. In Kansas, when settlers had burned a family's farm because they dared to vote the wrong way. Fear made monsters of ordinary men. "No," Eli said. The sheriff blinked. "What?" "I said no." Eli's hand moved to his own pistol. "This girl is coming with me. Any man who tries to stop me is going to meet his maker today." Silence. The kind of silence that comes before thunder. Then the sheriff laughed. Short, sharp, like a bark. "You're either the bravest man I ever met," he said, "or the dumbest." "Probably both." For a long moment, nobody moved. Then the sheriff stepped aside. "Get out of my town, stranger, and take that curse with you." Eli rode. He rode until Thornfield was nothing but a smudge on the horizon, until the only sounds were Smoke's hooves and Lily's ragged breathing. Then he stopped. "They hate me," Lily said. Her voice was small, hollow. "They're scared." "Of me?" Eli turned to look at her, at this tiny, trembling child, with her milky eyes and her torn dress and her bare feet. "People are scared of what they don't understand," he said. "It ain't right, but it's true." "Mama said the same thing." Lily's lip quivered. "Before she left." "Why did she leave, Lily?" "She said—" The girl's voice broke. "She said it would be easier, for both of us, if I wasn't there." Eli felt something crack in his chest, something he'd thought was long dead. She was wrong. Lily's head turned toward him, those empty eyes somehow finding his. "You don't even know me." "Don't need to." Eli reached back and squeezed her hand. "I know enough." "What do you know?" "I know you're brave. Braver than any of those cowards back there. I know you're strong. You survived a whole day in that heat without giving up." He paused. "And I know you deserve better than what you've been given." Lily was quiet for a long time. Then, "Where are we going?" Eli looked at the horizon, at the setting sun painting the sky in shades of red and gold. He'd been running for 6 years, running from the war, from the things he'd done, from the man he'd become. Maybe it was time to stop. "There's a ranch," he said, "about 20 miles north. Belonged to my brother before he passed. Ain't much, just a cabin and some land. But it's got a roof, 4 walls, a well." "A home?" The word hit Eli like a punch to the gut. Home. He hadn't had one of those in longer than he could remember. "Yeah," he said. "I reckon it could be." They made camp as the stars came out. Eli built a small fire, cooked beans and salt pork, watched Lily eat like she hadn't had a proper meal in weeks. She probably hadn't. "How long has it been?" he asked. "Since you ate?" Lily shrugged. "Mama and me, we ran out of money a while back. She'd give me half of whatever she could find. Said she wasn't hungry." "She lied." "I know." Lily set down her tin plate. "I could hear her stomach growling at night. I just pretended I couldn't." Eli stared into the fire. The flames danced and crackled. "My mama used to do the same thing," he said, "after my daddy died. There'd be 5 of us kids and her, and she'd serve supper with nothing on her own plate. Always some excuse. Always some reason." "What happened to her?" "She passed. Winter of '58. Just gave out." Lily was quiet. Then, "I'm sorry." Eli looked at her. At this child who'd been abandoned by her own mother, hated by strangers, left to die in the dust. And she was sorry for him. "You're something else, Lily Mae Patterson." "Is that good or bad?" "Good." He almost smiled again. Closer this time. Definitely good. The next morning, they rode. Lily sat in front of him now, leaning back against his chest. Her fingers traced patterns on Smoke's mane.
"Tell me what you see," she said.
What?
"The world. Tell me what it looks like."
Eli hesitated. He wasn't a man of words. Never had been. But something about this girl, something about those empty eyes that somehow saw more than most, made him want to try. "The sky's blue," he said. "Clear blue, like a robin's egg.
"What else?"
There's grass, yellow-brown from the summer heat. It stretches out in every direction, far as you can see. Every now and then there's a tree, twisted up and bent from the wind, fighting to stay alive."
"Like us,"
Lily said. Eli's arms tightened around her. "Yeah," he said. "Like us." They reached the outskirts of Red Creek just past noon. It wasn't much of a town. A general store, a saloon, a livery stable, a handful of houses scattered along a single dusty street. But it had what Eli needed: supplies, information, maybe, if he was lucky, someone willing to mind their own business. "Stay close," he told Lily as he helped her down from Smoke. "I can't exactly wander off."
"That's not—"
He caught himself. "That was a joke, wasn't it?"
"Mama always said I had her sense of humor."
Lily's fingers found his belt loop, held on tight.
She wasn't sure if that was good or bad either.
They walked into the general store. The woman behind the counter looked up. Middle-aged, kind face, gray streaking through brown hair. Her eyes went to Eli's scar, to his eye patch, then to Lily. Something shifted in her expression. "Can I help you folks?" "Need supplies," Eli said. "Flour, sugar, coffee, whatever you got in the way of children's clothes." The woman's gaze lingered on Lily, on her bare feet, her torn dress.
"That your daughter?"
"No, ma'am," Eli paused. "But she's mine to look after." The woman studied him for a long moment. Then she smiled.
"I got some things in the back. Hand-me-downs from my sister's kids. Might be able to find something that fits."
She came around the counter and crouched in front of Lily.
"What's your name, sweetheart?"
Lily pressed closer to Eli's leg.
"Lily. That's a pretty name. I'm Martha."
She reached out slowly, giving Lily time to hear her movement.
"You like candy, Lily?"
Lily nodded. Martha pressed something into her palm.
"Peppermint. My specialty."
Lily unwrapped it carefully, put it in her mouth. For the first time since Eli had found her, her face relaxed into something approaching peace.
"Thank you, ma'am." "You're welcome, sweetheart."
Martha stood and met Eli's eyes. Something passed between them. An understanding.
"The clothes are in the back," she said.
"And there's a water pump out behind the store. Looks like you both could use a wash." An hour later, Lily was clean. Her hair, blonde, Eli realized, now that the dust was gone, was braided down her back. She wore a blue dress that was only slightly too big and a pair of boots that actually fit. She looked like a different child. She looked like someone who might have a chance.
"How do I look?"
she asked. "Like a proper young lady." Lily wrinkled her nose. "I don't think I want to be proper." "Too bad. You're stuck with it now." They were sitting on a bench outside the store. Martha had refused payment for the clothes, had pressed extra food into Eli's hands, had whispered, "God bless you," when she thought Lily couldn't hear. Red Creek, it seemed, was not like Thornfield.
"Mr. Eli?"
"Just Eli."
"Eli."
Lily's hand found his.
"Why are you helping me?"
It was a fair question, one he'd been asking himself since he'd climbed off his horse in that dusty road. Because I know what it's like, he said finally. To be alone. To have everyone look at you like you're something wrong, something broken. You're not broken. Neither are you. Lily was quiet. Then, my mama said I was cursed. That's why she left. She said the bad things that happened, the fire, the boy in the well, she said it was because of me, because God was punishing people for being near me. Eli's hand tightened around hers. Your mama was wrong. How do you know? Because there ain't no such thing as curses. There's just people. People who do good things and people who do bad things. And sometimes bad things happen for no reason at all. He paused. But they ain't your fault. None of it is. Lily's lip trembled. Promise? Promise. She leaned against him. This tiny, blind, abandoned girl who'd been thrown away like garbage by everyone who should have loved her. And Eli Dawson, scarred, broken, running from his own demons, put his arm around her. We're gonna be all right, he said. He almost believed it. They made camp again that night, 10 miles from Red Creek, 10 miles closer to the ranch. Lily fell asleep by the fire, her head pillowed on a rolled-up blanket, her new boots still on her feet because she refused to take them off. Eli sat watch. He thought about the road ahead, about the ranch he hadn't seen in 6 years, about the ghosts that waited for him there. His brother Thomas had built that cabin with his own hands, had cleared that land, had dreamed of raising a family there. Then the war came. Thomas didn't come back. Neither did their younger brother Samuel. Neither did their father. Just Eli, scarred and haunted and wishing he'd died too. He'd run from that ranch, from those memories, from the weight of being the only one left. But now he had a reason to go back. The sun was just rising when Eli heard the horses. He was on his feet in an instant, pistol in hand. 3 riders coming from the south, coming fast. Lily, he shook her awake. Get behind me. She scrambled up, found his leg, held on. The riders came into view. Eli recognized the one in front, the sheriff from Thornfield. Well, well, the sheriff pulled his horse to a stop 20 feet away. Thought you'd gotten away, did you? Eli raised his pistol. I've got no quarrel with you. But I've got one with you. The sheriff dismounted. His 2 deputies did the same. See, you made me look weak back in town. Man like me can't afford to look weak. So you rode 20 miles to prove a point? Something like that. The sheriff's eyes went to Lily. Also, folks are getting restless. They want that curse dealt with. Permanently. Eli stepped in front of Lily. You'll have to go through me. That was always the plan. The sheriff drew his pistol. And Eli Dawson, who had spent 6 years running from death, stepped forward to meet it. The sheriff's pistol cleared leather. Eli fired first. The bullet caught the man in the shoulder, spun him around, dropped him in the dust. The 2 deputies froze. Your boss is still breathing, Eli said. His voice was steady. His hand wasn't. Question is, do you want to be? The younger deputy, couldn't have been more than 19, looked at his partner. His face was pale, his gun hand shaking. This ain't worth dying for, the older one muttered. Smart man. They holstered their weapons, slowly, carefully. Pick him up, Eli said. Take him back to Thornfield. And you tell everyone in that town, if I see any of you again, I won't aim for the shoulder. They dragged the sheriff to his horse, threw him over the saddle like a sack of grain. The man was groaning, cursing, bleeding through his fingers. This ain't over, the sheriff spat. You hear me? This ain't... Ride. They rode. Eli watched until they disappeared, until the dust settled, until his heart stopped pounding against his ribs. Then Lily's voice, small and scared.
Are they gone?
They're gone.
Did you kill him?
Eli holstered his pistol. His hands were trembling now. No.
Why not?
He turned to look at her, this child who'd seen, heard, more violence in her short life than anyone deserved. Because killing's easy, he said. It's the living that's hard. Lily's hand found his, squeezed tight.
You're shaking.
I know.
I thought you were brave.
Brave men shake too. He crouched down to her level. Being brave doesn't mean you ain't scared. It means you do what needs doing, even when you are. Lily considered this.
I was scared, she admitted. When I heard the guns, I thought...
Her voice cracked.
I thought you were going to leave me, like Mama did.
Something twisted in Eli's chest, sharp, painful. Listen to me. He took her face in his hands, gently. I ain't your mama. I ain't gonna leave you. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. You understand? Tears spilled down her cheeks. Promise? I already promised once. I'll promise as many times as you need. She threw her arms around his neck, held on like he was the only solid thing in a world that kept shifting beneath her feet. And maybe he was. Eli held her back. This broken man holding this broken child. Two pieces that somehow fit together. We need to move, he said finally. Put some distance between us and them. Lily nodded against his shoulder. Okay. He lifted her onto Smoke, climbed up behind her, pointed the horse north, and rode. They pushed hard through the morning. Eli kept checking behind them, kept listening for hoofbeats, kept waiting for the sheriff's men to reappear with reinforcements. But the road stayed empty. Where are we going? Lily asked. I told you, the ranch. But they know you're heading north. Won't they come looking? Smart girl. Too smart for her own good sometimes. They might, Eli admitted. But there's nothing between here and the ranch except open country. Hard to track a man who knows the land. Do you know the land? I grew up on it. He paused. Before the war. Lily was quiet for a moment. What was it like? The war. Eli's jaw tightened. Hell. Mama said my daddy died in the war. She said he was a hero. Most of them were. Were you a hero? The question hit him like a bullet. Cleaner. Deeper. No, he said. I was just a man trying to survive. That sounds like a hero to me. Eli didn't answer. Couldn't. They rode in silence for a while. The sun climbed higher. The heat pressed down like a physical weight. Then Lily said, I'm hungry. We'll stop soon. There's a creek up ahead. We can rest there. How do you know? I know. 20 minutes later, they reached the creek. Eli helped Lily down, let her drink from his canteen while he watered Smoke. There's jerky in the saddlebag, he said. Can you find it? Lily felt her way along the horse's side, found the bag, pulled out the dried meat. Got it. Good girl. She tore into it like a wild animal. Eli watched her eat, watched the way she tilted her head, listening to every sound, the water, the wind, the birds. You hear a lot, don't you? He said. I hear everything. Lily swallowed a mouthful. That's how I knew you were different, back on the road. Different how? The other people, the ones who passed me, they were scared. I could hear it in their footsteps, fast, light, like they wanted to get away as quick as possible.
She paused. But you stopped, and when you walked toward me, your steps were slow, heavy, like you were carrying something.
Eli stared at her. What was I carrying?
I don't know, but it was heavy.
Lily's blind eyes turned toward him.
You're still carrying it.
The words hung in the air between them. Yeah, Eli said finally. I reckon I am. What is it? He should lie, should change the subject, should protect this child from the darkness that lived inside him. But something about Lily, something about those eyes that couldn't see but somehow saw everything, made lying impossible. Guilt, he said. For what? For living, when so many others didn't. Lily was quiet. Then she stood up, walked toward him with her hands outstretched, found his arm, his shoulder, his face. Her fingers traced the scar.
Does it hurt?
Not anymore.
Liar.
Eli almost laughed. Almost. How'd you know?
Because everything hurts.
Lily's hand dropped.
Even the things that healed a long time ago.
They stayed by the creek longer than they should have. Eli knew they needed to keep moving. Knew the sheriff might send more men. Knew every minute they wasted was a minute closer to danger. But Lily had fallen asleep in the shade of a cottonwood tree, and he couldn't bring himself to wake her. So he sat and watched, and thought about the road ahead. The ranch was maybe 15 miles now, half a day's ride if they pushed. But pushing meant wearing out smoke, and a tired horse was a slow horse. Better to take it steady. Reach the ranch by nightfall. Hope to God the place was still standing. Hope to God he could make it into something worth standing in.
Mr. Eli?
He looked down. Lily was awake, her blind eyes open and searching. Just Eli.
I had a dream.
Yeah?
I dreamed I could see.
She sat up slowly.
Everything was so bright, so colorful. I saw the sky and the grass and the trees and...
Her voice caught.
And then I saw Mama.
Eli's heart clenched.
She was walking away, just like she did before. I called to her, but she didn't turn around. She just kept walking until she disappeared.
Lily's lip trembled.
Why doesn't she love me?
Lily.
I tried to be good. I tried so hard, but every time something bad happened, she'd look at me like it was my fault.
Like I made it happen just by existing. It wasn't your fault.
Then why did she leave?
Eli wished he had an answer. A real one. Something that would take away the pain in this child's voice and replace it with understanding. But the truth was ugly. The truth was that some people couldn't handle hardship. Some people broke under the weight of their own lives and took it out on the ones they were supposed to protect. Some people, he said slowly, are broken in ways that can't be fixed. It's not about you, Lily. It's not about anything you did or didn't do. It's about her weakness, her fear.
Do you think she's scared?
I think she's terrified. Of the world, of what people think, of being different. He paused. I think she left you because she thought it would make her life easier. And I think one day, maybe soon, maybe years from now, she's going to realize what she threw away. And it's going to destroy her. Lily was quiet for a long time.
I don't want her to be destroyed, she said finally. I just want her to love me.
I know.
But she won't. Will she?
Eli pulled her close, let her rest her head against his chest. I don't know, he said. But I do know this. You're worthy of love. Whether she sees it or not. Whether anyone sees it or not. You're worthy. Lily's arms wrapped around him.
Thank you,
she whispered. They reached the outskirts of Miller's Crossing, just as the sun started its descent. Eli had hoped to avoid any more towns, hoped to make it to the ranch without another confrontation. But Smoke needed rest, and they needed supplies that would last more than a day. Stay close, he said, as they entered the main street. And don't talk to anyone unless I say.
Why?
Because not everyone's like Martha. Lily's hand tightened on his belt loop.
I know.
Miller's Crossing was bigger than Red Creek. More people, more buildings, more chances for trouble. Eli kept his head down, kept his hand near his pistol, kept Lily tucked behind him like a shadow. The general store was at the end of the street, small, quiet, empty except for an old man behind the counter. Afternoon, Eli said. The old man looked up. His eyes went to the scar, the eye patch, then to Lily. Help you? Need supplies, flour, coffee, salt, whatever you've got in canned goods. The old man nodded, started pulling items from the shelves. Eli watched him work, watched the door, watched the windows. Passing through? The old man asked. Heading north. Ranch country up that way. Not much else. That's the idea. The old man paused, looked at Lily again. That's your girl? She's with me. She blind? Eli's jaw tightened. That matter? Nope. The old man went back to work. Just askin'. Had a blind nephew once. Good kid. Smarter than most folks with 2 working eyes. Some of the tension left Eli's shoulders. How much for all this? Call it $5. It was too cheap. They both knew it. Appreciate it, Eli said. Don't mention it. The old man pushed the supplies across the counter. World's hard enough without making it harder on each other. Eli paid, gathered the supplies, headed for the door. Mister, he turned. The old man's face was serious now. Word is there's men asking about a scarred stranger traveling with a blind girl. Came through about an hour ago. 3 of them. Eli's blood went cold. Which way did they go? North Road. Said they were heading to check the ranches. The ranches. His ranch. Thank you, Eli said. Don't thank me yet. The old man reached under the counter, pulled out a shotgun, handed it across. You might need this more than money. They rode hard. Eli pushed Smoke faster than he should have, faster than was safe. But safe didn't matter anymore. The sheriff's men were ahead of them, heading to the ranch, heading to the only home Eli had left. What's happening? Lily asked. Her voice was tight with fear. The men from Thornfield, they're ahead of us. How? Must have taken a different route, cut cross-country while we followed the road. What are we going to do? Eli didn't answer. His mind was racing. 3 men, armed, waiting. He had a pistol, 6 shots, plus the shotgun the old man had given him. 2 shells. 8 chances to kill 3 men before they killed him. Before they got to Lily. Eli? We're gonna be fine. You're lying again. Yeah. He spurred Smoke harder. I am. The ranch appeared as the sun touched the horizon. It looked smaller than he remembered. Older. The cabin's roof sagged in the middle. The fence around the corral had fallen in places. Weeds grew where his brother had once planted vegetables. But it was still standing, and there were 3 horses tied outside. Lily, Eli said quietly, I need you to listen to me very carefully. Okay,
When I stop the horse, you're going to slide off and hide behind that big rock to our left. Can you feel it?" Lily's head turned. "Yes." "You're going to stay there, no matter what you hear, no matter what happens. You don't come out until I tell you it's safe." "But—" "Promise me." Lily's chin quivered. "I promise." Eli stopped smoke, lifted Lily down, guided her to the rock. "I'll be back," he said. "You better be." He kissed her forehead, just once, quick. Then he turned toward the cabin. The door opened before he reached it. A man stepped out. Big, bearded, gun already drawn. "You're Eli Dawson," the man said. It wasn't a question. "That's right. Sheriff Wheeler sent us. Said you shot him. Said you kidnapped a devil-touched child." "Sheriff Wheeler is a liar and a coward." The man shrugged. "Don't matter much to me what he is. He's paying good money for that girl." "She's not for sale." "Everything's for sale, friend." Two more men emerged from the cabin, flanking positions. "Question is, what's she worth to you?" "More than my life," the big man smiled. "That's what I was hoping you'd say." He raised his gun. Eli drew. His first shot took the big man in the chest. His second and third caught the man on the left before he could fire. The man on the right got a shot off. Eli felt the bullet whistle past his ear, before the fourth shot dropped him. Then silence. 3 bodies in the dirt. Eli stood there, smoke curling from his pistol, breathing hard. He'd killed men before, in the war, in the years after. But it never got easier. The weight of it, the finality. "Eli?" Lily's voice, small, scared. "It's safe," he called. "You can come out." She emerged from behind the rock, made her way toward him with her hands outstretched. "Are they dead?" "Yes." "All of them?" "Yes." Her hand found his, felt the gun, the trembling. "Are you okay?" Eli looked at the bodies, at the blood soaking into the Texas dirt, at the cabin that was supposed to be his refuge, but had become just another battlefield. "No," he said, "but I will be." They buried the bodies before dark. Eli dug the graves himself, while Lily sat on the porch. 3 holes in the hard Texas earth. 3 men who'd come to do evil and found death instead. When he was done, he stood over the fresh mounds. Didn't pray. Didn't speak. Just stood there as the last light faded from the sky. "You should say something," Lily called. "Like what?" "I don't know. Something." Eli thought about it. "They made their choice," he said finally. "And I made mine. That's all there is." He walked back to the cabin, to Lily. She was waiting on the top step, her face turned toward the sky, like she could feel the stars coming out. "Is this home?" she asked. Eli looked around, at the sagging roof, the broken fence, the overgrown yard, at the child who'd somehow found her way into his heart. "Yeah," he said. "I reckon it is." That night, they sat by the fire. The cabin was dusty, neglected, full of ghosts and memories Eli wasn't ready to face. But it was shelter. It was safety. It was something. "Tell me about your brother," Lily said. "Thomas? You said he built this place, before the war." Eli stared into the flames. Let the memories come. "Thomas was the best of us. Kind, patient, always knew the right thing to say." He paused. "He was older than me by 4 years. Felt like 40 sometimes. Like he'd already lived a whole life while I was still figuring out how to tie my boots." Did you love him?
More than anything.
What happened to him?
Eli's throat tightened. Gettysburg, July of '63. He was leading a charge up a hill when a cannon shell landed right in front of him. His voice cracked. They never found enough to bury. Lily reached out, found his hand.
I'm sorry.
Me too.
Is that what you're carrying? The guilt?
Eli nodded, then remembered she couldn't see. Part of it. Thomas wasn't supposed to be there, wasn't supposed to enlist at all. He had a bad leg from a farming accident. They should have sent him home. But he talked his way in anyway because... His voice broke. Because I was there. Because he wanted to protect me. That's not your fault.
Feels like it.
Feeling something doesn't make it true. Eli looked at her. This child. This blind, abandoned, wise beyond her years child. When did you get so smart?
I've always been smart.
Lily squeezed his hand.
I just never had anyone who listened.
Later, when Lily was asleep on the cabin's one bed, Eli sat on the porch. The night was quiet, peaceful, the kind of night Thomas would have loved. He thought about the road that had brought him here, the years of running, the men he'd killed, the child he'd saved. He thought about what came next. There would be more trouble, he knew that. The sheriff in Thornfield wouldn't give up that easily. There were still people who wanted Lily dead, or gone, or worse. But he had a roof now, 4 walls, land. He had a purpose. And maybe, just maybe, he had a chance at redemption. I'll take care of her, he said to the darkness, to Thomas, to whatever ghosts were listening. I swear to God, I'll take care of her. The wind rustled through the grass, and somewhere in the distance, a coyote howled. Morning came too fast. Eli was up before dawn, checking the fence, inspecting the well, making a list of everything that needed fixing. The list was long. "What are you doing?" Lily called from the porch. "Working." "On what?" "Everything." She made her way down the steps, counted them carefully, found the path by feeling with her feet. "Can I help?" Eli looked at her, at this tiny girl in her too big dress, her blind eyes bright with determination. "Can you hammer a nail?" "If you tell me where to hit." He almost smiled. "All right then." He handed her a hammer, guided her fingers to a loose board. "Right here, nice and steady." Lily swung. Missed. Swung again. Hit her thumb. "Damn it!" Eli laughed. Couldn't help it. The first real laugh he'd had in years. "It's not funny," Lily said, but she was smiling too. "You're right, it ain't." He took her hand, examined the thumb. "You'll live." "I better. I'm not done yet." She grabbed the hammer again, swung, and this time she hit the nail dead center. "Well, I'll be," Eli said. Lily grinned. "Told you I was smart." By noon, they'd fixed 3 fence posts and patched a hole in the roof. Eli was exhausted, sweating, his bad leg aching from all the climbing. But for the first time in 6 years, he felt like he was building something instead of running from something. "We need supplies," he said. "Real ones, enough to last the winter." "Where do we get them?" "There's a town about 10 miles east, Credence, bigger than Miller's Crossing. They'll have everything we need."
Are we going today?
Eli hesitated. Going to town meant being seen, meant talking to people, meant risking another confrontation. But they couldn't survive on jerky and hope. "Tomorrow," he said. "We'll go tomorrow." That night, Lily asked him to describe the stars. So he carried her outside, laid a blanket on the grass, let her rest her head on his arm while he pointed at the sky.
That bright one there, the one that doesn't twinkle, that's not a star. That's a planet, Venus. How do you know? My mama taught me. Said the planets were steady because they had weight to them, substance. Stars were just gas and fire, but planets were real. I like that.
Lily's voice was drowsy.
Real things being steady.
You're a real thing.
So are you.
Eli looked at the sky, at the endless sweep of stars and planets and darkness.
Yeah, he said. I reckon I am.
Lily fell asleep in his arms. He carried her inside, tucked her into bed, brushed the hair from her face. Then he sat down in the chair by the window and watched the moon rise. Tomorrow, they'd go to town. Tomorrow, the real work would begin. But tonight, just for tonight, they were safe. And that was enough. Credence was bigger than Eli expected. Streets full of people, wagons rattling past, the sound of hammers and voices, and somewhere, faintly, a piano playing. Lily gripped his hand tight enough to hurt.
There's so many of them, she whispered. I can hear them everywhere.
Just stay close. We'll be quick. They made their way to the general store. Eli kept his head down, his hat pulled low over his scarred face. But he could feel the stares, could feel the whispers starting. The store was crowded. A woman with 2 children, an old man examining tobacco, a young couple arguing over fabric prices. Eli guided Lily to the counter. "Help you?" The clerk was middle-aged, tired-looking, barely glanced up from his ledger. "Need supplies. Flour, sugar, coffee, salt, canned goods, medicine if you've got it." "Got everything but the medicine. Doc Harrison handles that." The clerk finally looked up. His eyes went to Eli's face, lingered on the scar. "You new around here?" "Just passing through." "Uh-huh." The clerk's gaze shifted to Lily. "That your daughter?" "She's with me." "She blind?" Eli's jaw tightened. "That matter?" "Nope, just asking." The clerk started gathering supplies. "Lot of folks been asking about a man with a scar traveling with a blind girl. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?" Eli's hand moved toward his pistol. Slowly. Casually. "Can't say I do." "Didn't think so." The clerk set a bag of flour on the counter. "That'll be $12 for everything." Eli paid, gathered the supplies, headed for the door. "Mister." He turned. The clerk's face was unreadable. "Doc Harrison's office is 2 doors down, if you need medicine." "Thanks." "And mister?" The clerk lowered his voice. "Whatever trouble you're running from, it just walked in the front door." Eli spun around. Sheriff Wheeler stood in the doorway. His arm was in a sling. His face was pale, but his eyes burned with hatred. "Well, well," the sheriff said. "Looks like I found you after all." The store went quiet. Everyone frozen. Everyone watching. Lily's hand found Eli's belt loop, held on. "You should be in bed," Eli said, "recovering from that shoulder wound." "Should be a lot of things." Wheeler stepped forward. "Dead, mostly, thanks to you." "That can still be arranged." Wheeler laughed, short, bitter. "You think you're gonna shoot your way out of this? Look around, Dawson. This ain't some empty road. This is a town. My town now." "Your town?" "My cousin's the mayor." Wheeler's smile was ugly. "Sent word ahead after you shot me. Told him everything. About you. About that devil-touched girl you're protecting." He paused. "About the bounty." Eli's blood went cold.
What bounty? $500 for the girl, dead or alive.
Wheeler's smile widened. You'd be amazed how many good Christian folks will do bad things for $500. Lily whimpered, pressed closer to Eli's leg. She's a child, Eli said. An innocent child. She's a curse, and curses need to be destroyed. The only curse here is you. Wheeler's hand moved to his pistol, then stopped. I'm not going to draw on you, Dawson. Not this time. He stepped aside. I'm going to let the town handle it. The door opened behind him. Men poured in. 5, 10, 15, armed with rifles, shotguns, pistols. Eli counted them, counted the bullets in his gun, did the math. There was no way out.
Eli,
Lily whispered.
what do we do?
He didn't answer. Couldn't. For the first time since he'd found her on that dusty road, Eli Dawson had no idea what to do. Give us the girl, Wheeler said, and you can walk away. Simple as that. No.
You'd die for her? Already told you I would.
Wheeler shook his head. Then you're a fool. Maybe. Eli's hand tightened on his pistol. But I'm a fool who keeps his promises. He drew. The first shot shattered the window behind Wheeler. The second caught a man in the leg. The third, a rifle butt slammed into the back of his head. The world went white, then dark. The last thing he heard was Lily screaming his name. Pain brought him back, sharp, throbbing, like someone had driven a spike through his skull. Eli opened his eyes. One eye. The other was swollen shut. He was in a cell. Iron bars, stone walls, the smell of rust and piss and despair. Lily, he croaked. She ain't here. Eli turned his head. A man sat in the corner of the cell. Old, weathered, gray beard down to his chest. Where is she? The girl? The old man shrugged. They took her to the church. Said they're going to hold a trial. A trial? For witchcraft. The old man's voice was flat, empty.
Gonna let the town decide if she's guilty.
Eli lurched to his feet, grabbed the bars, shook them hard enough to rattle his teeth. Let me out! Let me out, damn you! Save your strength. The old man didn't move. Those bars ain't going nowhere. Neither are you. They're going to kill her. Probably. She's just a little girl. Don't matter. The old man finally looked up. His eyes were hollow, dead. Scared people do terrible things. Been watching it my whole life. War, lynchings, massacres. He paused. This ain't any different. Eli slammed his fist against the bars. There has to be a way out. There ain't. There's always a way. The old man studied him for a long moment. You really care about that girl, don't you? She's all I've got. Then pray. The old man closed his eyes. Pray to whatever God you believe in, because that's the only thing gonna save her now. Time passed. Eli didn't know how much. He paced. He raged. He screamed until his throat was raw. Nobody came. Nobody answered. Just the silence. The darkness. The knowledge that somewhere out there, Lily was alone and scared and waiting to die. Please, he whispered. To God, to Thomas, to anyone who might be listening. Please, not her. Take me instead. Take anything, just not her. The door to the jail opened. Eli spun around. A woman stood in the doorway, middle-aged, stern-faced, holding a ring of keys. You Eli Dawson? Who's asking? Name's Margaret Holloway. She stepped closer. My husband was the sheriff of this town for 30 years, before Wheeler's cousin bought his way into power. What do you want? Same thing you want. She held up the keys. To stop them from killing that child. Eli's heart pounded. Why would you help us? Because I had a daughter once. Blind, like yours. Sweetest girl you ever met. Margaret's voice cracked. She died of fever when she was 9, and I swore on her grave that I'd never let another innocent child suffer if I could stop it. She unlocked the cell. There's a back way out, through the alley. You can get to the church before what? Margaret's face went pale. Before they burn her. Eli ran, through the alley, past the buildings, his head pounding, his legs burning, his heart screaming one word over and over. Lily, Lily, Lily. He could see the church now, the crowd gathered around it, the torches, the smoke. No, he breathed. No, no, no. He burst through the crowd, pushed past bodies, knocked aside hands that tried to stop him. And there she was, Lily, tied to a post in front of the church, wood stacked around her feet. A man with a torch standing beside her. Her face was streaked with tears. Her dress was torn. Her blind eyes were wide with terror. Eli? She called. Eli, is that you? I'm here. He drew his pistol, aimed it at the man with a torch. Step away from her, now. The crowd went silent. Wheeler pushed forward, his face twisted with rage. You! How did you— Doesn't matter. Eli cocked the pistol. Let her go. Or what? You'll shoot me? Wheeler laughed. Look around, Dawson. There's 100 people here. You gonna shoot all of them? If I have to. Eli? Lily's voice was shaking. Eli, there's too many. I don't care. You should. Wheeler nodded to someone behind Eli. Pain exploded in his shoulder. He dropped to his knees. Someone had shot him. The pistol fell from his hand. Eli! Lily screamed. Wheeler walked over, picked up the pistol, examined it. You know what your problem is, Dawson? You think you can save everyone. He aimed the gun at Eli's head. But you can't even save yourself. Wait! A voice rang out over the crowd. Wheeler turned. A man was pushing through the bodies, tall, gray-haired, wearing a black coat and a white collar. A preacher. What do you want, Reverend? Wheeler snapped. I want you to stop this. The preacher stepped between Wheeler and Eli. This isn't justice. This is murder. This is God's work. God doesn't burn children. The preacher's voice was steady, strong. And neither do men of faith. The crowd shifted, murmured. She's cursed, Wheeler said. Everyone knows it. She's blind. That's not a curse. That's a condition. The preacher turned to face the crowd. I've known afflicted children my whole life. They're not evil. They're not touched by the devil. They're just different. And since when did being different become a crime? Silence. Then a woman's voice. But the fires, the boy in the well. Accidents, the preacher said. Tragic accidents that would have happened whether this girl was here or not. We want to blame someone. That's human nature. But blaming a child, an innocent, blind child, that's not human. That's monstrous. More murmuring, louder now. Wheeler's face reddened. You're defending a witch. I'm defending a human being, something you seem to have forgotten how to do. The preacher looked at Eli, at the blood soaking his shoulder. And this man who has risked everything to protect her, is he evil too? Is he a witch? He's a murderer. He's a father. The preacher's voice dropped. Maybe not by blood, but by choice. And that counts for something. That counts for everything. The crowd was changing now. Eli could feel it. The rage cooling, the fear fading. "Let them go," the preacher said. "Let them go and let this town remember what it means to be Christian." For a long moment, nobody moved. Then Wheeler raised his pistol, aimed it at the preacher. "I'm not letting them go. Not now, not ever." "Then you'll have to shoot me first." Wheeler's hand trembled. "Don't think I won't." "I don't doubt it." The preacher didn't flinch.
But ask yourself, is this really the hill you want to die on? Is this really how you want to be remembered? As the man who murdered a preacher and burned a child?
Wheeler's face twisted. His finger tightened on the trigger, and then, "Enough!" The mayor pushed through the crowd. Wheeler's cousin. A fat man in a fine suit with sweat staining his collar. "Lower your weapon, Jacob." Wheeler spun around. "You can't be serious." "I said, lower it." The mayor's voice was cold. "This has gone far enough. I wanted that girl out of town, not turned into a martyr. But nothing. Look around you. Look at their faces." The mayor gestured at the crowd. "You've lost them. We've lost them. And if you pull that trigger, we'll lose everything." Wheeler stared at his cousin, at the crowd, at Eli, bleeding in the dirt. Then he lowered the pistol. "This isn't over," he said. "You hear me, Dawson? This isn't—" "Yes, it is." The mayor stepped forward. "Take your men. Get out of my town, and don't come back." Wheeler's face went purple with rage, but he turned, walked away, his men following behind like whipped dogs. Eli watched him go. Then his vision blurred. His strength gave out. He collapsed, face first, into the dust.
Eli!
Lily's voice, far away, getting farther.
Someone help him! Please! Someone!
Darkness took him. He woke to the sound of humming. Soft, sweet, a lullaby he almost recognized. "Lily?"
I'm here.
Her hand found his, squeezed tight.
I'm right here.
He opened his eyes. One eye. The swelling had gone down enough to see shapes and shadows. He was in a bed. A real bed. Clean sheets. Soft pillows. "Where are we?"
The preacher's house. Reverend Thomas.
Lily's voice caught.
He saved us, Eli. He saved both of us.
"I know."
I thought you were dead.
Tears spilled down her cheeks.
When you fell, I thought I couldn't hear you breathing. I couldn't hear anything except my own heart, and I thought,
"I'm sorry." He pulled her close, let her sob against his chest. "I'm sorry I scared you."
don't ever do that again.
"I can't promise that."
Then lie to me.
Eli almost laughed. Almost. "I won't ever do that again."
Thank you.
She sniffed.
I know it's a lie, but thank you.
The door opened. Reverend Thomas walked in. He looked tired, older than he had in the square. "You're awake, thanks to you." Eli tried to sit up. Pain shot through his shoulder. He fell back with a groan.
What happened after I passed out?
"The doctor came, removed the bullet. Said you were lucky. It missed the bone by half an inch." The Reverend pulled up a chair, sat down heavily. "You've been out for 2 days."
2 days?
"Your body needed to heal. So did your spirit, I suspect." Eli looked at Lily, at her tear-streaked face, at her blind eyes full of love. "What happens now?" he asked. "Now?" the Reverend smiled. "Now you go home. That ranch you mentioned. You take this child somewhere safe,
and you build a life together. And Wheeler?
Gone. His cousin sent him packing. Turns out the mayor has more sense than I gave him credit for.
The Reverend paused.
Wheeler won't be back. He's finished here.
Eli wanted to believe it. Wanted to so badly. But men like Wheeler didn't just give up. They waited. They planned. They came back when you least expected it.
You don't believe me, the Reverend said.
I believe you believe it.
Fair enough.
The Reverend stood.
Rest now. Get your strength back. And when you're ready, there's a wagon waiting outside. Supplies. Everything you need to start over.
Why? Eli's voice cracked. Why are you doing all this?
Because it's right.
The Reverend placed a hand on his shoulder.
And because I had a son once. Lost him in the war. He was about your age.
His eyes grew distant.
You remind me of him. The way you fight for what you believe in.
The way you refuse to give up, even when everything's against you. I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything. Just live. That's all any of us can do.
The Reverend headed for the door.
Oh, one more thing.
What?
The woman who let you out of jail, Margaret Holloway. She's been waiting downstairs for 2 days. Said she won't leave until she knows you're all right.
Send her up. Margaret came. Her face was worn, exhausted, but her eyes lit up when she saw Eli sitting up in bed.
You made it, she said.
Thanks to you.
I didn't do much.
You did everything. Eli reached out his hand. She took it. I owe you my life. Lily's life.
You don't owe me anything.
Margaret's voice grew thick.
I told you, I had a daughter. This is what she would have wanted. She paused. This is what I needed.
Then we're even.
More than even.
She squeezed his hand.
Now rest. Heal. And when you're ready, get that little girl somewhere safe.
I will.
Promise?
Eli looked at Lily,
At her smile, at the hope in her face.
I promise. 3 days later, they left Credence. The wagon was loaded with supplies. More than enough to last the winter. More than enough to start over. Eli sat in the driver's seat, Lily beside him, her hand in his.
Are we going home? She asked.
Yeah, we're going home.
The ranch?
The ranch. She leaned against his shoulder.
Tell me about it. What it looks like now.
Eli thought about the sagging roof, the broken fences, the overgrown yard. Then he thought about what it could be, what it would be. It's got a big porch, he said, where we can sit in the evenings and watch the sunset, and a corral for smoke, and a garden where we'll grow vegetables, and a well with the sweetest water you ever tasted.
And a room for me?
The best room in the house.
Lily smiled. I can't wait to see it, she said, then caught herself. I
know what you mean.
Eli pulled her closer.
And you will see it in your own way, through your hands and your ears and your heart. That's the best kind of seeing there is. They rode into the sunset. Behind them, Credence grew smaller and smaller until it disappeared completely. Ahead of them, the road stretched on, long, empty, full of possibility. And for the first time in 6 years, Eli Dawson wasn't running away from something. He was running toward it. The ranch looked different in the morning light. Eli had been working for 3 weeks straight, fixing the roof, mending the fences, clearing the weeds. His shoulder still ached where the bullet had torn through, but he pushed through the pain. He had to. For Lily.
Eli!
Her voice rang out from the porch.
Breakfast is ready!
He set down his hammer, wiped the sweat from his forehead, walked toward the cabin. Lily stood in the doorway, holding a plate of scrambled eggs.
She'd learned to cook by feel, by smell, by sound.
Martha from Red Creek had come out twice to teach her.
"Smells good," he said. "It better. I burned the first batch." "How many batches were there?" "3. She handed him the plate. "But this one's perfect. I can tell." Eli took a bite. It was perfect. "You're getting better at this," he said. "I'm getting better at everything," Lily smiled. "Except hammering nails. I'm still terrible at that." "You hit the nail twice yesterday." "And my thumb 4 times." Eli laughed. A real laugh. The kind that came from somewhere deep. 3 weeks ago, he couldn't remember the last time he'd laughed. Now he did it every day. They ate on the porch. Lily sat beside him, her legs swinging off the edge. She'd grown in the week since he'd found her, filled out. The hollow look in her cheeks was gone. The fear in her eyes had faded to something softer. "Eli?" "Yeah?" "Can I ask you something?" "Always." She was quiet for a moment, choosing her words. "Do you think my mama ever thinks about me?" Eli's heart clenched. "I don't know." "Do you think she's sorry?" "I think—" He paused. "I think she's probably scared. Scared of what she did. Scared of what it means. And I think one day that fear is going to turn into regret. And that regret is going to eat her alive." Lily nodded slowly. "I used to pray she'd come back. Every night. I'd lie awake and pray and pray and pray." Her voice dropped. "I don't pray for that anymore." "What do you pray for now?" "I pray for you." She turned toward him, those blind eyes finding his somehow. "I pray you'll be happy, that you'll stop carrying all that weight, that you'll let yourself live instead of just surviving." Eli's throat tightened. "Lily, you saved my life," she said. "But you keep acting like you don't deserve one of your own. And that's not fair. Not to you, not to me." "I'm trying." "I know." She reached for his hand, found it, held on. "That's why I keep praying." A rider appeared on the horizon just after noon. Eli saw the dust first, then the shape, then the glint of metal. "Lily." His voice went hard. "Get inside." "What is it?" "Someone's coming." She didn't argue, didn't question, just moved. Eli grabbed his rifle, stepped off the porch, waited. The rider came closer. It was a woman, middle-aged, worn, riding a horse that looked ready to collapse. Something about her was familiar, something Eli couldn't place. She stopped 20 feet away. "Are you Eli Dawson?" "Who's asking?" The woman climbed down from her horse. Her legs were shaky. Her face was pale. "My name is Sarah Patterson." Eli's blood went cold. Patterson. Lily's last name. "You're her mother." "Yes." Sarah's voice cracked. "I'm her mother." Eli raised the rifle. "Give me one reason I shouldn't shoot you where you stand." Sarah didn't flinch, didn't beg, just stood there with tears streaming down her face. "Because I came to apologize," she said, "and because I need to see my daughter one last time." "One last time?" Sarah opened her coat. Eli's stomach dropped. Blood. So much blood. Soaking through her dress, pooling in the dust at her feet. "What happened?" "Wheeler." Sarah's voice was fading. "He found me, in El Paso. Said if I told him where you were, he'd let me live." She laughed bitterly. "I didn't tell him anything. So he—" She collapsed. Eli caught her before she hit the ground, lifted her, carried her toward the cabin. "Lily!" he shouted.
Lily, I need your help! The door flew open. What's happening? Who? Lily froze, sniffed the air. Her face went white. Is that blood?
Yes.
Whose?
Eli hesitated. Your mama's. Lily's world stopped. Eli could see it happen. The shock hitting her like a physical blow. Her knees buckling, her hands reaching for something solid to hold on to.
Mama?
Sarah's eyes fluttered open, found her daughter's voice.
Lily. My sweet Lily.
I don't understand.
Lily was shaking. You left me. You said I was cursed. You said I was wrong.
Sarah's hand reached out, trembling, searching.
I was so wrong, and I've spent every day since hating myself for it. Then why didn't you come back? I was ashamed. Ashamed of what I'd done. Ashamed of who I'd become.
Tears spilled down Sarah's cheeks.
But I never stopped loving you. Not for 1 second. Not for 1 moment.
Lily stood frozen, torn between anger and grief, between love and betrayal, between the mother who'd abandoned her and the mother who was dying in front of her. Lily, Eli's voice was gentle. You don't have to forgive her, but you might want to hear what she has to say. Lily's jaw trembled. Then she knelt down, took her mother's hand. I'm listening. Sarah talked for an hour. Her voice grew weaker with every word, but she kept going, kept confessing, kept apologizing. She told Lily about the fear, the crushing, suffocating fear that had driven her to do the unthinkable. She told her about the guilt, the sleepless nights, the bottles of whiskey that couldn't drown the memories. She told her about the moment she realized what she'd done, really realized it, and how she'd spent months trying to find her daughter, following rumors, chasing shadows, getting closer but never close enough, until Wheeler found her. He said he was going to kill you, Sarah whispered. You and the man who took you. He said he was going to burn you both and make sure everyone knew what happened to people who defied him. When? Eli demanded. When is he coming? Tonight. He's got men, lots of men, more than before. Eli's mind raced. Tonight. He had hours, maybe less. Lily, he turned to her. I need you to stay with your mama. Can you do that? Where are you going? To get help. From who? Eli thought about it. Thought about the people he'd met, the debts that were owed.
Everyone, he said. He rode to Red Creek first. Martha was outside her store when he arrived. Her face went pale when she saw his expression. What happened? Wheeler's coming. Tonight. With enough men to burn my ranch to the ground.
Lord have mercy.
I need help, Martha. Guns, men, anything you can spare. Martha didn't hesitate. My brother's got a hunting rifle. My nephew just got back from the army. Give me an hour. I don't have an hour. Then give me 30 minutes. She disappeared inside. Eli rode on. Miller's Crossing was next. The old man from the general store was sitting on his porch, whittling a piece of wood. He looked up when Eli approached. You again. Me again. Eli dismounted. I need your help. What kind of help? The shooting kind. The old man set down his knife. Wheeler? How'd you know? Word travels. The old man stood slowly, his joints cracking. I'm 73 years old. Can't see worth a damn. Can't hear much better. He paused. But I can still shoot straight. And I've been waiting for a reason to use this old rifle one more time. You'd do that? For a stranger? You ain't a stranger. The old man walked into his shop, came back with a Winchester.
You're the man who saved that little girl. That makes you a hero. And heroes don't fight alone. By the time Eli got back to the ranch, there were 7 people waiting. Martha, her brother, her nephew, the old man from Miller's Crossing, 2 farmers he'd never met, and Margaret Holloway, the woman who'd freed him from jail in Credence. "Heard you needed help," Margaret said. "Couldn't let you have all the fun." "How'd you know?" "The Reverend sent word." She hefted a shotgun. "Said you'd probably be too stubborn to ask." He was right. "Usually is." She looked at the cabin. "The girl inside?" "With her mother." Margaret's eyebrows rose. "Her mother?" "Long story. Ain't they all?" They spent the next 3 hours preparing. Eli positioned people at every corner of the property. Behind the fence, in the barn, on the roof of the cabin. It wasn't much. 9 people against however many Wheeler was bringing, but it was something. "Eli!" He turned. Lily stood in the doorway. Her face was streaked with tears. "How is she?" "Dying." Lily's voice broke. "She's dying, and there's nothing I can do." Eli walked to her, pulled her close. "You're doing everything you can. You're being there. That's what matters." "It's not enough." "Sometimes it has to be." Lily buried her face in his chest, her whole body shaking. "I hated her," she whispered. "For so long, I hated her. And now—" "Now you're losing her all over again." "Yes." Eli held her tighter. "That's the thing about love, Lily. It don't go away just because someone hurt you. It sticks around, waits. And when the time comes, when they need you most, it shows up." "What if I can't forgive her?" "You don't have to. Not today. Not ever." He pulled back, looked into her blind eyes. "But you can be there. You can hold her hand. You can let her know she didn't die alone." Lily's lip trembled. "Will you come with me?" "I can't. Wheeler's coming, and I need to—" "Please." Her voice cracked. "Just for a minute. Please." Eli looked at the horizon, at the fading sun. Then he looked at Lily. "All right," he said. "Just for a minute." Sarah was barely breathing when they walked in. Her face was gray, her eyes half closed. The blood had stopped flowing, but only because there wasn't much left. "Lily?" Her voice was a whisper. "I'm here, Mama." "And the man? Eli?" "He's here too." Sarah's eyes found him, or tried to. "Thank you," she breathed, "for taking care of her. For being what I couldn't." "Ma'am." "No." Sarah raised a trembling hand. "Let me finish. I don't have much time." Eli fell silent. "I was weak," Sarah said. "Scared. Broken. I looked at my daughter, and all I could see was everything I'd lost. My husband, my home, my hope." She paused. "But she wasn't any of those things. She was just a little girl who needed her mama, and I was too selfish to see it." "Mama, don't—" "I have to." Sarah's hand found Lily's face, touched her cheek. "I have to tell you before I go. I loved you, Lily. Every day, every moment. Even when I left you on that road. Even when I walked away. I loved you so much, it hurt." Tears poured down Lily's cheeks. "Then why?" she choked. "Why did you leave?" "Because I thought you'd be better off without me. Because I thought the curse was real. Because I was stupid and scared and I believed the lies people told me." Sarah's voice cracked. "But it wasn't true. None of it was true. You're not cursed, Lily. You're blessed. You're the most blessed thing I ever knew." Lily collapsed against her mother's chest. Sarah wrapped her arms around her daughter, weak, trembling, but holding on with everything she had left. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry."
"I forgive you," Lily sobbed. "I forgive you, Mama." Sarah smiled, a real smile, the first one in years.
That's all I needed to hear. Her eyes closed, her arms went slack, and Sarah Patterson took her last breath with her daughter in her arms. Lily screamed, a sound that tore through the cabin, through Eli's heart, through everything. He held her, let her rage, let her cry, let her pound her fists against his chest until she had nothing left. "She's gone," Lily sobbed. "She's really gone." "I know." "I just got her back. I know." "It's not fair. It's not fair." "No." Eli's voice was thick. "It ain't." They stayed like that for a long time. Then, "Ryder's coming." Margaret's voice, sharp and urgent. Eli's head snapped up. "How many?" 20, maybe more." Wheeler was here. Eli looked at Lily, at her tear-streaked face, at her mother's body. "I have to go." "I know." "Stay inside, stay down, no matter what you hear." "I know."
Lily grabbed his hand, squeezed hard.
"Come back to me." "I will."
"Promise?"
Eli kissed her forehead. "I promise." Then he grabbed his rifle and walked out to meet his enemy. Wheeler's men spread across the property like a dark tide. 23 by Eli's count, armed to the teeth, faces hard with purpose. Wheeler rode at the front. His arm was still in a sling, his face was still pale, but his eyes burned with madness. "Eli Dawson!" he shouted. "I told you this wasn't over. And I told you I'd kill you if I saw you again." Big words from a man with... Wheeler squinted, counted the figures hidden around the property. "What? 8? 9? Against my 23? Quality over quantity." Wheeler laughed. "You know what I'm going to do, Dawson? I'm going to burn this ranch to the ground. I'm going to drag that blind witch into the street and put a bullet between her eyes. And then I'm going to take my time with you. You're welcome to try." Wheeler's smile faded.
"Kill them all." Gunfire erupted. Eli dove behind a water trough.
Returned fire. One of Wheeler's men dropped. Then another. Then another. But more kept coming. Martha's nephew fell first. A bullet through the chest. He was dead before he hit the ground. One of the farmers went next. Then the other. Margaret took a bullet to the leg but kept shooting. "I ain't done yet, you bastards!" The old man from Miller's Crossing stood on the porch like a monument, firing shot after shot until his rifle clicked empty. "I'm out!" he shouted. A bullet caught him in the throat. He fell without a sound. Eli watched it happen, watched his allies fall one by one. But Wheeler's men were falling too. 10 down, 12, 15. The tide was turning. Then Eli heard it, a scream from inside the cabin. Lily. He spun around. A man was climbing through the back window, rifle in hand, heading for the bedroom. Eli ran. He hit the door at full speed, shoulder first, burst into the cabin. The man was standing over Lily, his rifle aimed at her head. "Don't move, Dawson, or she dies." Eli froze. "Let her go." "Can't do that. Boss wants her dead, and the boss gets what the boss wants." Lily was trembling, her blind eyes wide with terror. "Eli?" "It's okay." His voice was steady. His hands weren't. "It's gonna be okay." "You got 3 seconds to drop your gun," the man said. 1.
Don't hurt her.
2.
Please.
3. A gunshot. The man's head snapped back. He crumpled to the floor. Eli spun around. Sarah's body was slumped against the wall, a pistol in her hand, smoke curling from the barrel. She'd used the last of her strength to save her daughter one final time. Eli stared. Then Lily's voice.
What happened? Eli, what?
Your mama, he said. She saved you. Lily crawled toward the body, found her mother's hand, found the gun.
Mama?
No answer. There never would be again. Outside, the gunfire was dying down. Eli stepped onto the porch. Wheeler was the only one left standing. His men were scattered across the yard, dead, wounded, dying. Wheeler himself was on his knees, his pistol empty, his face twisted with disbelief. "This isn't possible," he breathed. "This isn't—" Eli walked toward him, slowly, deliberately. "You should have stayed in Thornfield." "You can't kill me," Wheeler's voice cracked. "I'm the law. You're nothing." Eli raised his pistol. "Wait!" Wheeler scrambled backward. "Wait, please. I'll leave. I'll go away and never come back. You killed an innocent woman. You tried to burn an innocent child. You murdered good people who never did anything to you." Eli's voice was cold. "There's no coming back from that. Please, tell the devil I said hello." He pulled the trigger. Wheeler fell and didn't get back up. Eli stood there for a long time, looking at the bodies, at the destruction, at everything that had been lost. Then he heard Lily's voice.
Eli?
She was standing in the doorway, blood on her dress, tears on her cheeks.
Is it over?
He walked to her, took her in his arms. "Yeah," he said, "it's over." They buried Sarah the next morning. Eli dug the grave himself, next to the 3 men from Wheeler's first attack, next to the old man from Miller's Crossing. Lily stood beside him, silent, still. When the grave was filled, she knelt down, placed her hand on the fresh dirt. "I forgive you, Mama," she whispered, "and I love you. I always will." Eli put his hand on her shoulder. "Ready to go inside?" Lily nodded. They walked back to the cabin together. The sun was rising, golden light spreading across the land. And somewhere in the distance, a bird began to sing. 3 months passed. The ranch healed. Eli healed. Lily, slowly, painfully, began to heal too. They fell into a rhythm, mornings on the porch with coffee and eggs, afternoons working the land. Evenings by the fire, Eli reading aloud while Lily listened. It wasn't perfect, nothing ever was, but it was good. "Eli?" He looked up from the fence he was mending. Lily stood at the edge of the yard, her cane tapping against the ground. Martha had brought her that cane 2 weeks ago. Said her blind nephew had used one just like it. Said it might help Lily feel more independent. She'd taken to it immediately. "What is it?" "There's someone coming." Eli straightened, reached for the rifle leaning against the fence post. "How many?" "Just one. A wagon, I think. Moving slow." He squinted at the horizon. Sure enough, a wagon was approaching. Single driver, no escort. "Stay behind me." "I can take care of myself." "I know, but stay behind me anyway." The wagon pulled up 20 feet from the cabin. The driver was a woman, young, maybe 25. Dark hair pulled back in a practical bun, face weathered by sun and hardship. She looked at Eli, at his scar, at the rifle in his hands. "You Eli Dawson?" "Who's asking?" "My name's Clara Bennett." She climbed down from the wagon. Her movements were stiff, pained. "I've come a long way to find you." "Why?" Clara looked at Lily, at her blind eyes, at her cane.
Because you saved a child once, and I'm hoping, praying, you'll do it again.
Eli didn't lower the rifle. What are you talking about? Clara walked to the back of the wagon, pulled aside a canvas cover. 2 children huddled inside. A boy and a girl, maybe 6 and 8. Thin, dirty, terrified.
Their names are Samuel and Emma, Clara said. Their father was my brother. He died 3 weeks ago. Fever. Their mother passed when they were babies.
Her voice cracked.
I'm all they have left, and I don't know how to.
How'd you find us?
Word travels. People talk about the scarred man who saved a blind girl from a mob. The man who stood against impossible odds and won.
Clara's eyes met his.
They say you're a good man.
A brave man. A man who protects children. People say a lot of things. Are they wrong? Eli looked at the children, at their hollow eyes, their trembling hands. He thought about turning them away, about the danger it would bring, about the peace he'd finally found being shattered all over again. Then Lily's hand found his arm.
Eli.
Her voice was soft, certain. We have room, she said. We have food. We have love. She paused. We have everything they need. Lily, you saved me when I had no one, when the whole world wanted me dead. Her blind eyes turned toward the wagon, toward the children. How is this any different? It wasn't. Eli knew it, had known it from the moment he saw them. He lowered the rifle. Get them inside, he said. They need food and rest. Clara's face crumpled with relief.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
Don't thank me yet. Eli headed for the cabin. You haven't tasted Lily's cooking.
Hey!
Lily called after him.
I've gotten better.
You burned the eggs this morning.
Only a little.
For the first time in months, the cabin was full. Clara sat at the table, watching her niece and nephew eat like they hadn't seen food in weeks. Maybe they hadn't. Lily sat beside Emma, guiding her hands to the cup of water, showing her where the bread was.
You're blind,
Emma said. Not mean, just curious.
Yep. How do you know where everything is?
Practice, Lily smiled.
And listening. I hear things other people don't. Like what? Like right now, your brother's trying to steal the last piece of cornbread while you're not looking.
Samuel froze, his hand inches from the bread.
How'd you know that? Told you. I hear everything.
Samuel slowly pulled his hand back. Emma giggled. It was the first sound of joy the cabin had heard since Sarah died. Later, when the children were asleep, Eli and Clara sat on the porch. Where will you go? He asked.
I don't know.
Clara stared at the darkness. I was hoping, I know it's a lot to ask, but I was hoping you might let us stay, just for a while, just until I figure things out. You don't know us. I know what people say, and I know what I see. She turned to look at him. A man who could have chased me off, who could have turned his back on 2 orphans, but didn't. That doesn't make me a saint. No, it makes you human. Clara's voice softened. That's enough for me. Eli thought about it. Thought about the extra mouths to feed, the extra work, the extra danger. Thought about Lily's face when she heard Emma laugh. You can stay, he said. Long as you need. Clara's eyes filled with tears. I don't know how to thank you. Then don't. Eli stood. Get some sleep. Morning comes early around here. He walked inside. Clara stayed on the porch, looking up at the stars, wondering if maybe, just maybe, things were finally going to be okay. 2 weeks later, The trouble came. Eli was in the barn when he heard the horses. 3 of them, coming fast. He grabbed his rifle, stepped outside. 3 men sat on horseback at the edge of the property, rough-looking, armed. "Help you, gentlemen?" The leader, a thick man with a scar across his nose, smiled. "We're looking for a woman, Clara Bennett. Heard she might have passed through here." "Never heard of her." "That's so." The man's smile widened. "Because I got a man in town says he saw her wagon heading this direction 3 days ago." "Your man's mistaken." "Don't think he is." The leader leaned forward. "See, Clara owes some people money. Lot of money. Money her dead brother borrowed and never paid back. And those people sent us to collect. She's not here. Mind if we look around?" "Yeah." Eli raised the rifle. "I mind." The men exchanged glances. "Mister, you don't want to do this." "Already doing it." "There's 3 of us, 1 of you." "Then you're outnumbered." The leader's smile faded. "Last chance. Hand over the woman. We ride away. Nobody gets hurt." "Counteroffer." Eli's finger found the trigger. "You ride away now. Nobody gets hurt." Silence. The kind that comes before violence. Then the leader laughed. "You got guts, old man. I'll give you that." He pulled his horse around. "But this ain't over. We'll be back, with more men. And when you are, I'll bury you next to the last men who tried this." The leader's face went pale. He'd heard the stories. Everyone had. "Let's go," he muttered to his men. They rode away. Eli watched until they disappeared. Then Clara's voice, from inside the cabin. "They'll be back, won't they?" "Yes." "What do we do?" Eli lowered the rifle. "We prepare." He sent word to Red Creek, to Miller's Crossing, to Credence. Martha came first, then Margaret, then a dozen others Eli had never met, people who'd heard the stories, who believed in what he was building. Within a week, the ranch was fortified. Fences reinforced, lookout posts established, supplies stockpiled.
"This is crazy,"
Clara said, watching the preparations.
"All this for me? For a debt I didn't even know about?"
"It ain't about the debt." Eli loaded his rifle. "It's about what's right. And what's right is protecting people who can't protect themselves."
"I can protect myself."
"I know, but you don't have to. Not anymore." Clara's eyes glistened.
"Why? Why do you keep doing this? Taking in strays, fighting battles that aren't yours, risking everything for people you barely know?"
Eli thought about the question. Thought about Lily, about Sarah, about Thomas and the war and all the ghosts that haunted him. "Because someone did it for me once," he said finally. "My brother. He gave up everything, his safety, his future, his life, just to watch over me. And I've spent 6 years wondering if I was worth it." He paused. "This is how I find out." Clara didn't say anything. She just reached out and squeezed his hand. The attack came 3 nights later. Eli heard the hoofbeats first, then the gunshots. He was on his feet before the echoes faded. "Everyone down!" he shouted. "Lily, the children, get them to the cellar." "I'm not hiding," Lily said. "This isn't a debate." "You're right, it's not." She grabbed a rifle from the wall. "Clara taught me how to shoot. I can't aim with a damn, but I can make noise." "Lily, you taught me to be brave. Now let me be." Eli looked at her, at this child who'd grown into something fierce, something unbreakable. "Stay near the window. Don't show yourself." "I'm blind, Eli. I couldn't show myself if I tried." Despite everything, He almost smiled. That's my girl. The fighting was brutal. 20 men against Eli's 12. But Eli's people knew the land, knew the positions, knew what they were fighting for. Bullets tore through the night. Men screamed, men fell. Eli moved through the chaos like a ghost, shooting, reloading, shooting again. He took down 3 men before one got close enough to draw a knife. They wrestled in the dirt, the blade slicing Eli's arm, his blood mixing with the dust. He got his hands around the man's throat, squeezed. The man's eyes went wide. His struggles weakened, stopped. Eli pushed the body away, stumbled to his feet. Margaret was at his side. "You're hurt." "I'll live." "The leader, the one from before, he's heading for the cabin." Eli's blood went cold. "Lily." He ran. The cabin door was open. Eli burst inside. The leader stood in the middle of the room, Clara in front of him, a knife at her throat. Samuel and Emma huddled in the corner, crying. And Lily. Lily stood 10 feet away, rifle raised, pointed at nothing and everything. "Let her go," Lily said. Her voice was steady. Her hands weren't. The leader laughed. "A blind girl with a gun. Now I've seen everything." "I can hear you. That's all I need."
You'd risk hitting your friend? You'd risk betting I won't? The leader's smile faltered. Then Eli stepped through the door. "Let her go." The leader spun around, pulled Clara tighter against him. "Dawson, was wondering when you'd show up." "It's over. Your men are dead or running. You've got nothing left." "I've got her." The knife pressed harder against Clara's throat. A thin line of blood appeared. "And I'll kill her before I let you take me." "Then you'll die 3 seconds later." "Maybe, but she'll die first." Silence. Then Clara's voice, calm and clear. "Eli, take the shot." "Clara, I mean it. Don't let this bastard win." The leader's grip tightened. "Shut up!" "You're a coward," Clara's voice rose, hiding behind a woman, threatening children. "You're nothing but—" The leader's hand moved, the knife pulled back. Clara dropped to the floor. And Lily fired. The bullet caught the leader in the chest. He stumbled backward, hit the wall, slid down. "How?" He stared at Lily, at her blind eyes. "How did you—" "I told you." Lily lowered the rifle, her whole body shaking. "I hear everything." The leader coughed, blood on his lips. Then nothing. Eli crossed to Clara, helped her up. "You okay?" "I think so." She touched her throat, looked at the blood on her fingers. "It's shallow, just a scratch." "You were going to let him kill you." "I was going to give you a chance." Clara looked at Lily. "Turns out I didn't need to." Eli walked to Lily, took the rifle from her trembling hands. "You saved her." "I know," Lily's voice cracked. I didn't think." "You did what you had to do." "I killed a man." "You saved a life." Eli pulled her close. "There's a difference." Lily buried her face in his chest. "Is it over now? Is it finally over?" Eli looked around, at Clara holding her niece and nephew, at the body on the floor, at the silence settling over the land. "Yeah," he said, "it's over." 1 year later, the ranch had grown. New buildings, new fences, new animals, and new people. Clara had stayed, had become part of the family, had taken over the garden and the cooking and half the chores Eli used to do alone. Samuel and Emma had healed, had started calling Eli uncle, had started calling Lily their sister.
And Lily. Lily had become something remarkable. She taught the children to read by running their fingers over letters carved in wood. She taught Clara to listen, really listen, to the world around her. She taught Eli to laugh again. And one morning, as they sat on the porch watching the sunrise she couldn't see, she said, "I want to adopt them." Eli turned to look at her. "What?" "Samuel and Emma. I want to make it official. I want them to be mine." She paused. "Ours." "Lily, you're only 9 years old." "I know, but I won't be forever. And when I'm old enough, when the law allows it, I want them to know they're wanted, that they belong, that they'll never be abandoned like I was." Eli's throat tightened. "You're something else, Lily Mae Patterson." "Dawson." "What?" "Lily Mae Dawson." She reached for his hand, found it, held on. "That's my name now, if you'll have me." Eli couldn't speak, couldn't find the words for what he was feeling, so he just nodded. Then remembered she couldn't see. "Yes," he said, his voice thick. "I'll have you." Lily smiled, the biggest, brightest smile he'd ever seen. "Then it's settled." She leaned against his shoulder. "We're a family now, a real family." "We always were." "I know." She squeezed his hand. "But now, it's official." Martha came for the ceremony. Margaret, too. And the Reverend from Credence. And a dozen other people who'd become part of their strange, beautiful, impossible family. They gathered in front of the cabin, in front of the graves, Sarah's, and the old man from Miller's Crossing, and all the others who'd died to protect what they'd built. Varen Thomas read the words. The legal words, the binding words. And when he was done, Eli Dawson was no longer a man alone. He was a father. "Congratulations," Martha said, hugging him tight. "You deserve this." "I don't know about that." "I do." She pulled back, looked at him with tears in her eyes. "Thomas would be proud. Your brother. He'd be so proud of who you've become." Eli's chest ached. "You think so?" "I know so." That night they celebrated. Food, music, laughter. Eli sat on the porch, watching his family, dance in the firelight. Clara twirling with Samuel, Emma chasing fireflies, Lily clapping along to a song she couldn't see but could feel in her bones. "You did it!" Eli turned. Margaret sat down beside him, a glass of whiskey in each hand. She offered him one. "Did what?" "Found something worth fighting for, worth living for." She clinked her glass against his. "Worth being." "Took me long enough." "Good things usually do." They drank in silence. Then Lily's voice. "Eli, come dance with me." "I don't dance." "You do now." She ran toward him, grabbed his hands, pulled. "Lily." "Please, just one dance, for me?" He looked at her face, at the joy there, the love. "One dance," he said. She laughed. And Eli Dawson, scarred, haunted, redeemed, stepped into the light. Later, when the party was over and the guests had gone, Eli tucked the children into bed. Samuel first, then Emma, then Lily. "Thank you," Lily whispered, as he pulled the blanket up to her chin. "For what?" "For finding me. For keeping me. For not giving up when everyone else did." "Lily." "I know I've said it before, but I need you to hear it. Really hear it." Her blind eyes found his. "You saved my life. Not just on that road. Every day since. Every moment." She paused. "You showed me that I was worth saving." Eli's eyes burned. You were always worth saving.
I know that now. Because of you.
He kissed her forehead. Good night, Lily Mae Dawson.
Good night, Papa.
The word hit him like a bullet. Papa. She'd never called him that before. Lily, but she was already asleep. A smile on her face. Peace in her heart. Eli stood there for a long time, looking at his daughter, his children, his life. Everything he'd thought was lost, everything he'd given up on. It had all come back to him. Different. Better. Real. He walked outside. The night was quiet. The stars were bright. The land stretched out in every direction, full of possibility. He thought about Thomas, about the brother who died to protect him. I understand now, he said to the darkness, why you did it, why you gave up everything. The wind rustled through the grass. It wasn't just about protecting me. It was about believing in something, someone. It was about love. He looked back at the cabin, at the light in the windows, at the smoke curling from the chimney. I found it, Thomas. I finally found it. He closed his eyes, and for the first time in 6 years, Eli Dawson felt peace. Real peace. The kind that comes from knowing exactly who you are and exactly where you belong. The kind that comes from family, from love, from home. The next morning, the sun rose over the Texas plains. Eli stood on the porch with a cup of coffee in his hands. Lily sat beside him, her fingers tracing patterns on the wooden railing. Samuel and Emma ran through the yard, chasing chickens and laughing. Clara worked in the garden, humming a song her mother used to sing. And somewhere in the distance, a bird called out. The same bird that had sung on the morning Eli found Lily on that dusty road. Full circle, beginning to end, death to life, despair to hope. What are you thinking about? Lily asked. Everything. Eli took a sip of coffee. Nothing. That's not an answer. It's the only one I've got. Lily laughed. You're impossible. Learned it from you. She leaned against his shoulder. I love you, Papa. I love you too, Lily. They sat there together, watching the world wake up. A broken cowboy and a blind girl who had found each other in the darkness, who had saved each other from the darkness, who had built something beautiful out of the ashes of everything they'd lost. This was their story. This was their truth. This was their home. And no one, not time, not distance, not death itself, would ever take it away. Because that's what family means. That's what love does. That's what it means to be found. Eli Dawson had spent 42 years searching for something worth dying for. On a dusty Texas road, watching a blind girl reach toward his voice, he'd finally found something worth living for. And that made all the difference.